Been mid-range to outside passing. Only in the last couple of weeks we started to do some pressure passing. So that is something that Card and I we're pretty familiar with it, but we noticed too that some of our teammates, they either not comfortable with doing it or not sure how to defend it. Yeah. So to Cart's point, right, Maya found that little facet of the game that now we're trying to work on. So that's kind of it's a good thing, yeah. Exposing weaknesses.
So shout out to our whole team and the whole jiu-jitsu community and jiu-jitsu in the whole wide world. Shout out to God. Much love to jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
What's up, guys? He's off to the gym now. Little bit of a late start, but it's alright. We just keep the team going. We keep them rolling. You know the kind. You know what I mean, guys. So it's been a little bit rough. Shoulders kind of achy, but just do the best I can with what I can do. I think I used a little bit too much juice yesterday. He did say to me, "Oh, bro, I saw you going hot." It's like, I don't know, man. We never trained the whole weekend.
Busting up the white belts, bro.
I was thinking about it though. Freaking either when I'm guard or passing our white belt like teammates, bro. One of our teammates is pretty solid. He's a pretty solid white belt, so I gotta use real good solid technique. I can't be lacking. So
it's true. Rada is getting multiple weekly privates from Maya. So you know, the other week he told me, because I think I did something to him in one of our rows, right? So he said, "Oh yeah, ask Maya how to deal with that." Fucking guy scheming against me already, yeah, bro.
Yeah, so that's one end of the spectrum of the white belts, and then yeah, I was thinking, yeah, maybe sometimes I should just let him, you know, get positions. Like he said that before. So you know, as the jiu-jitsu player, you're kind of reluctant to want to put yourself in a bad spot, let alone an upper belt, letting a lower belt. But you know, yesterday I worked through some things with this newer student over there. He's a white belt, and you know, he got good positioning on the choke, so no sense I spaz and fight, right? He got something, so okay, let him, whatever. Gotta learn to, you know, control my emotions on the mat. Sometimes I think I get too into it, that when I get frustrated, it's expressed through the roll, right? And you don't want to see, especially, right, other people can see that going on. So you got to be presentable and being able to manage yourself and interact with others well at jiu-jitsu, right? It's not, that's all about me, but most of the time it's not only about you, right? It's about your teammate, trying to provide some kind of manageable resistance for them so that they're not too overwhelmed, and you can let them work and they can work through the things they want to do. So just been trying to work on that balance where you kind of just let the lower skilled guys just work whatever, and you just practice defense and countering, because no sense you play offense on people who can't even defense the first move. That's kind of like so unfair. One of I guess there's different ways to look at it, right? One method, one idea that I heard from one coach before from this one school was like, yeah, you did that move like 3 times in a row, but like, what did you gain out of that? Did you learn anything or something? And then on the other hand, another school owner said that like negative reinforcement, right? You're just gonna keep doing it to them until they figure out what it is. So I think like RVCA balance. So how's your day today?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, and you know, I like you know, kind of what you're saying along those lines about the balance, right? So lately I've been trying to talk to some of the beginners, right? Some of the people that are earlier on in their journey about how to make the roles or the interactions beneficial to both sides, right? So kind of like what Cart was saying, like one guy just dominates, the other guy's just a punching bag, right? So then it's kind of not too much fun, right? That's That's not the productive for both sides, right? I know a lot of times the mindset is, I'm trying to get better, so I'm playing my A game and I'm gonna do all my stuff. But you know, sometimes you gotta kind of let your partner get their stuff too, right? I mean, it's not always easy for the other person to recognize it, especially because, you know, jiu-jitsu is an individual sport in a way, right? But like I would always say at UFC, I mean, even though it's individual, it's a team. You can't train by yourself, right? If you did training on like a dummy, yeah, you can practice the movements, but there's no resistance, yeah, like you say, Carl. So that's just kind of how I've been trying to frame it. You know, I go with one of my friends that we work together. So yesterday I tried to explain to him too, right? Because I could sense from the beginning of the row that it was kind of that grab, hold, pin, press, right? So I tried to explain to him, like, you know, let's make it a productive row so there's some back and forth, yeah. So
Thanks for the wise words, guys. You know, like he was saying, we're a team. Okay, so I wanted to finish this off with a story, okay, about a team and how every person plays their role into this big picture, right? This uniformity, right? You're helping your teammates out. You're gonna be more specific, right? Coach is gonna give them pieces how they play. But anyways, to bring it back to the story to finish off this episode. So when I was younger, maybe, oh, what the heck, the camera. When I was younger, maybe 12 or 13 years old, I was playing football on this team called Halava Knights. It was 5th and 6th grade elementary tackle football, big boys, right? And after practice on Friday before the game, right, the coach is always gonna give a speech, right? So all the boys, we're all around, we're around. Usually I think we're all kneeling down and he's standing. But I don't know if it was at the parking lot or the field, but I feel like we were just cruising. But anyways, we used to cruise on Fridays every week with our old coach. But anyways, one of the coaches said, this Filipino guy, he said, you guys, you know, the team is as only strong as its weakest link. We are like a chain. So right, again, what is the weakest link? I think that, you know, our instructor has been noticing that there's some facets of the game that other people expose on others. So he tended to show us what that stuff is about so that we can touch up on one of our weaker areas, right? Because in the beginning, I was real loose, but we like pressure, right? And the school we're at right now is a lot about maintaining distance, creating distance, taking space. But you know, when you play that prevent style, when times get tough, you kind of falter, right? So we're liking how our instructor is touching up on some stuff that we enjoy doing. Because can you guys relate? Sometimes you're doing stuff in class that is maybe not applicable to your game, or something that you feel motivated enough to try, right? Maybe that's on yourself, that's a different story, but can you explain about that?
yeah, so, you know, being that I'm an older grappler, right? There's certain things that I don't do as much, right? So I don't invert, I don't berimbolo. The outside passing, especially in my early days, I never did outside passing. Everything's been from the early part of my career been pressure passing, right? Force half guard, chest to chest, pass from there, right? That's something that from the very beginning I started doing, right? But for almost 2 years now at Concept,